Hi, everyone. Welcome to our manifesting session today, all about being pursued. I'm so excited to go into this topic, and some really beautiful things came out of the Facebook group this week and just earlier today as women shared. I've seen women sharing in the group about how they want to be pursued. I've seen women in the group sharing about how they're terrified to be pursued. I've seen a lot of pieces in here over this last week, and I'm really excited to speak to this. Really excited to speak to this. So welcome everyone. Let's give a little bit of time for people to log in and see this. Whoops, here, I'm looking up the comments and I have the volume turned up. So funny. Hi, okay. Oh my gosh, Jen! Congratulations! Jen said she's watching from a hospital bed and just started to be induced 45 minutes ago. Oh my gosh, can everybody watching just send some good vibes to Jen, a member of our group who just got induced? Oh, I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, you guys, send her some love in there, in the comments. That's so great. Okay. All right, guys, I'd love to hear who's watching. If you're watching, say hi in the comments. If you have questions as we go, this will be structured a lot different than last week. Some of you have been with us for a couple years. Some of you have just been with us for a couple of weeks. So this week will always be structured a lot different than last week. Last week we got to interview a beautiful woman, client of mine, and talk about how she overcame her stuff. Today, we're really going to focus on manifesting what we want. Manifesting what we want around intimacy. So I want, for those of you who said, I don't even know if I want to be pursued, I'm going to say stay. You're going to get a lot out of this. For those of you who are like, oh, I'm so annoyed. Like, I just wish he would pursue me. Like, I wish that I didn't always have to be the one to initiate, or I didn't always have to be the one to plan everything or whatever, right? To you, I'm going to also say stay. You're going to get a lot out of this. At the end of this session, we will do an energy healing manifesting portion where we will actually do energy work on the group. Anyone who watches this video and says yes internally will receive that shift in their energy around being pursued and creating this deep intimacy. So maybe for you, the word "I want to be pursued" isn't quite hitting it, right? But we did create a list earlier this week that said, would you rather be heard, seen, understood, desired, or pursued? So I'd love to hear, for those of you who are watching right now, put in the comments which of those just sounds the most amazing to you, the most magical. And if there's one that's not on the list, put that then. What do you really want? To be seen, heard, understood, desired, pursued, or any and all of the above, right? I want to hear from you guys. Wisconsin, Jenny, that's exciting. Desire, seen. Oh, good, Erin. I'm glad you got it figured out. Yeah. We open up early like this so that Miriam, my wonderful, amazing virtual assistant, who I'm so grateful for, can come in and tag those of you who have expressed interest in this topic. So that's why we open it up like that. So I'm glad you got it figured out. Heard. But all of them is ideal. Understood. Yeah. Desired, wanted, and cherished. I love cherished. To me, that one, that gets me personally. Great, you guys. So, so let's speak to this. I love the fire too, Sarah. Desire with fire. Yeah. Let's speak to this, you guys. I have this beautiful opportunity that on a daily basis, I am talking to women on a daily basis. A handful of those women become my clients, and I watch them change in massive ways. And then I do research. I'm always asking questions. I'm in always in research mode. I want to understand what women are saying to themselves about their relationships, what's keeping them from experiencing this list, right? This list that we just came up with, of being desired, understood, heard. And I have a fire that was lit inside of me to know and really understand this and help women set ourselves free, because there was a time in my life when I was frigging miserable. I was so unhappy. And I'm a very religious person. I was following, all the things my faith told me to do to try to be happy. And I mean, like, aesthetically to a T, beyond, like, so strapped in perfectionism, because I was just trying to figure out how people survive, honestly. Like, I was just like, I was so cynical. I would look around and I would think, like, I'm going to just be dealt crap all of my life. Like, that's where I was about 10 years ago. And do you want to know what set me free? Was my husband being the biggest trial of my life. That's what set me free from my own prison. I thought he was my biggest problem, and maybe sometimes he was, right, if we're being honest. But him being him, coming with the set of life experiences that he came with, and a set of weaknesses and beliefs and baggage, and also strength, and all of it, him being as he was the biggest gift in my life to set me free. And so that lit a passion within me when my husband and I were able to overcome the difficulties that we experienced and actually create deep connection and intimacy. I was breathtaken. I literally would say often, I had no idea this kind of connection existed. Like, it was so delicious to me. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't get enough. And I also simultaneously was like, why don't more people know about this? Why don't people know you can be so happy and fulfilled in your relationships? Simultaneously, like, awe and shock, and simultaneously, like, I have to share this. Somehow I have to help people. Because up to that point, with my husband being my biggest problem, I had talked about it a lot. I went to conferences. I was part of 12-step groups. I was going out in circles in all different places because I was determined to survive. So I was like talking to people all the time about how, like, big of a problem my husband was. And I met a lot of women through that. A lot of women. I've heard a lot of stories. So let's go into some of the messages. That's just a little bit of background of where I come from, why I'm here, why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's my passion. I seriously, and I don't ever just say stuff off the cuff. Anything that I talk about is something I've done, like, always. It's like a motto for me. It's crucial. So let's talk about some of these things that we do, things that we say to try to create better intimacy. Why don't we just use the umbrella term intimacy? Being pursued, being heard, being seen, being understood, being desired, all of that can fall underneath an umbrella of intimacy, right? So what are the things that we do? What are the things that we say? What are the things that prevent us from actually getting what we want in our relationships, getting that deep intimacy? A woman recently said to me, when he looks deep into my eyes, I can't handle it. Anybody relate with that one? Put that one in the comments if you relate with that. Another phrase I heard just this week, if he saw me, really saw me, he wouldn't want me or love me. If he really knew me, he wouldn't love me. Anybody relate with that one? Put it in the comments if you relate. I'm crazy. I'm crazy that I feel this way because he's such a good man. Anybody relate with that one? We've got all these messages, right? And sometimes we've got a great husband who's willing to show up and do all this stuff for us, but we're like, we've got our own walls and things. So it's like, I'm crazy, right? Put that in the comments if you relate with that one. Another one I heard just this week, I can share more by like email or text message or, you know, some of these apps, communication apps about where I am, how I feel, stuff like that, but not in person. When we're in person, I find myself thinking, why doesn't he ask me how I feel? Why doesn't he ask me how I'm doing? Why doesn't he seem to care? Anybody relate with that one? Boy, but I've heard it all. We can go, these have all been pretty emotional, right? But we could also go into the body. I don't really want to be seen because I'm worried about my sagging skin. I'm worried about the extra fat that I have. I'm worried about the fact that my vagina doesn't look like it used to. I have had kids and now I don't even know what's going on down there. I'm worried about, right? Like all the body stuff that comes up. I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be heard. Well, I really do want to be heard and seen, but I don't at the same time. Are you guys relating to this? I mean, these are our crap messages that we tell ourselves, that we use against ourselves, right? I want to hear in the comments. Whoops, I got out of it. Bear with me here for a second. And I want to ask you guys, what's the cost? What's the cost of just staying in these messages? What's the cost of believing these messages that we say? I feel more comfortable over text. Thank you, Erin. You're the only vulnerable comment I can see here. So I just want to commend you for being brave. Yeah. I know you guys have them. I know it's vulnerable to put them in the comments, so I get it. But really, if we don't get this crap out, we're never going to get over it. We have to, you know this, right? First step is awareness. So, so now I want to really ask you, what is the cost of staying like this? For your life, for your personal life. Let me tell you what I know, what I've seen. The cost for me, if I would have stayed believing these messages, stayed in the discomfort, to be honest, the cost for me probably would have been suicide. I'm just being 100% honest. That's where I was. It was so hard, so brutal. The one, if he really knew me, that one was deep, friends, so deep. The tears that I have as I talk about this are tears of compassion for myself. Like, oh my gosh, how could you believe these things about yourself, Melissa? You're so great. How could you believe these things about yourself? So that would have been my cost. That's a pretty high cost, I would say. Pretty high cost. What about you guys? What's the cost? Is it less physical intimacy in your relationship? And then what's the cost of that? Will that have a cost? Is it less connection together? Does that have a cost? Does that have a cost on your kids? Does it have a cost on your relationship? We have to look at this stuff. We have to, if we want to get past it. And I know you're here because you want to. You're here because you don't want to live like this anymore. And you're tired of these stupid messages. Am I right? Okay. So I want to share 2 keys with you to shift into your best intimacy. To be pursued, seen, heard, desired, adored, cherished, all of it. So put in the comments 2 keys. If you're here, you're watching, and you're ready to hear the 2 keys. Put in the comments 2 keys. I'm going to go ahead and wait till I see. I know there's a little bit of a delay, so just hang tight with us and put in the comments 2 keys. Because I want to give you guys this. I want you to take it. I want you to realize how you have the power to shift this. I want you to walk away from this as not just another Facebook video that you scrolled through in your day, but as like, you know what? Like, oh my gosh, I'm going to change this. I don't want to do this the way I've been doing it anymore. Okay, I'll refresh my page here. Yeah, what is the cost of believing these messages that we say? Okay, 2 keys, you guys. The first key is to pursue yourself. That's the first key. You want to be deeply seen. See these messages that you're saying to yourself. Hold that space, just like I did. Did you see me do that? Hold that space for yourself. Love yourself. Give yourself what you want. Follow your pleasure. Follow your joy. Follow your desires. Okay, that's our first key. Pursue yourself. And this matters for you, whether you want your husband to pursue you or not, or whether you're sitting around afraid that your husband only pursues you because he wants your body, or because it's the mechanics of the thing, or because maybe he doesn't see you, but he does pursue you, or maybe or maybe vice versa. He's willing to talk, but he's not willing to have sex, or maybe he's not willing to do any of the above. Still, the first key is pursue yourself. Pursue yourself. What you really want. This is a day by day, moment by moment practice I'm talking about. Okay, pursue yourself. I think I'm having issues with my seeing my comments because it keeps telling me that there's more comments, but now I'm seeing them. Like, it keeps saying there's more comments, but I don't see them. So hi, great. Pursue yourself. Okay, is this obvious? Are you like, oh, this is too cliche? But can I paint a picture? Can I paint a picture for you of this? I'll just use my own life as an example because it's pretty vulnerable. When I am living in my pleasure, when I am really pursuing myself, and I'll be totally honest, it's not like I'm like living like this every moment of every day. Like we have life, we have like all the things, but it's a priority for me, right? So I'm thinking about it all the time. So when I am really living in that space, I'm like alive to sensation. I am wearing what I feel good in. I'm wearing what makes me think, boy, I look good. I'm beautiful. I like the way this feels on my skin. And I am so present. It's like there's magic all around me. All of a sudden, the sounds around me, the sounds of the birds, even the sounds of my kids, the sounds of the food cooking on the pan, like become alive to me. I am fully pursuing myself in every way, in my body, in my spirit, in my soul. I feel completely worthy of orgasms, of pleasure, and I just walk around in that. And then it's so easy when I'm really coming from that space. And I'd love to hear in the comments if you can relate to what I just described to you. Because to be honest, I didn't experience that ever until a few years ago. Like I did not do that. So what I'm talking about is something that I have honed and practiced and created for myself, right? But when I'm really doing that, it's so easy for me to playfully wink at my husband or invite him in. It's so easy for me to continue to call in even sex, even any of it, right? Because I know that I have full permission to say yes or no. I have full permission to be like, yes, this is what I want. This thing over here is not what I want. I'm not afraid of him wanting sex with me. I'm just fully in myself, fully embodied and pursuing me. Okay, that's your key number one. I'd love to hear in the comments what your takeaway is from that. Okay, key number two is make space. What do I mean by that? Make space. Well, here's the thing. Here's what I see over and over, especially if you're a strong, capable woman and you've been through hard things in your life and you've learned how to survive, you're probably filling in every gap that exists. Because filling in all the gaps is what keeps you safe, keeps you feeling safe. So the invitation is to step into your feminine and just make some space. This looks like listening more, being still more, being in your senses more, literally pulling way back, like canceling half of your to-do list or more, pulling way back and just being instead of feeling like you have to do all the time. Making space in yourself, and notice what comes up, making space within yourself. So I shared in the comments or in the Facebook group a post of a comment that I received from a client recently who really practiced this in a masterful way. And as she just made space, she really wanted, cherish was her big word that came up for her. Cherish. I want him to cherish me. Stepped back in this massive way, and her husband came through with $10,000 worth of gifts over Christmas. I'm like, hoorah, my husband hasn't done that. Like, hoorah, you know, because she made space. There was no space. There was no space for those things in her to receive. There's no space in her home. There was no space in their relationship. There was no space. Do you see what I'm saying? talking, this is a bit of a metaphorical concept, but we've got to just make space. Make space. So these are your 2 keys. I want to hear your questions. I want to hear your takeaways. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments, and then we're going to move into the manifesting. Okay, so in this manifesting, okay, hopefully you could still hear me. In this manifesting energy section, I want you to just check in with your heart and soul. If you give me permission to access your energy, great. If anything I say is something that your internal self is like, I don't really want that or whatever, that's fine. Your internal self will reject it, and that's fine. If it's all things you want, you need to just consciously say yes to receiving these things. And we're going to just call in the energy of the list. Seen, heard, desired, pursued, cherished, intimacy. Okay, so, and I'm tapping into energy here. If you're watching this on the replay, I'm tapping into your energy too, because of course the universe, there's no time. So all this clearing and stuff will be for whoever watches this and says yes to it. And what I'm seeing is like these beautiful things coming at us, and like there is no space. They're like bouncing off, bouncing off, bouncing off. And it's like, then we're on the inside feeling lonely and downtrodden. And we're like, I'm so alone. I just want to be close and connected and cared for. But we haven't created this space. We have this giant bunch of mess. So we're going to just clear all of that. And I'm just picturing it unraveling, disintegrating. The walls are disintegrating. The walls are coming down. And we'll just invite those to do so in a safe way. I don't know all of your circumstances here, but this is only going to be in the safest way for each of you individually. That these walls can come down so that even in areas of your life that may feel unsafe, you will find areas that feel safe and the channel will be open. Okay, so that wall's coming down, we're opening up. And what are we opening up to? To being seen, heard, desired, understood, cherished, pursued, intimacy. And so I just picture a blanket of intimacy falling over. Take a big deep breath in. Exhale, releasing anything that's ready to go. And bring your arms out and up, your face pointed towards the sky. We're creating all this space within us. And we're calling in all that we want. Just picture it coming in like rays of sunshine, coming in, blessing you from head to toe. That we can have all that we want. Breathe that in. Exhale, shaking out any of the negativity, anything that's ready to go, any of these walls that are ready to go. All right, guys, I can't wait to hear the miracles that happen. I get messages all the time about like, oh, this group, I'm so grateful. And it's just so exciting. I just feel a lot of gratitude to God and the universe for allowing me to be a vessel to show up in this space. And but I have to tell you that if you think that you're getting a lot of changes from being in a Facebook group, your changes are way slower than they could be. If you think that you're gonna keep these walls down by yourself, I'm here to tell you that we're not here to do these things alone, especially as women. We need communities. We need help. We need reminding all the time, because there's 3,000 messages telling you that you're not enough, you can't have what you want, and you shouldn't be seen and heard, and you're not worthy, and blah, 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 blah. So we need as many people in our lives telling us the opposite. So we need help. And that's why I do what I do. If this message is resonating with you, if something I have said today hit something for you that you hadn't thought of before, private message me. Let's talk about it. And we'll talk soon. Thanks, guys.